Okay, this is going to be a video demonstrating how you get iClone facial animation into Unreal Engine. And although if you've got iClone, they talk about their live link where you can link the two programs up so it feeds directly into Unreal. I find that's more trouble than it's worth, so what I tend to do is to export into Unreal from iClone. And in order to do that to the best possible quality, what you need to do is to set up this thing here called CC Setup. And you download some files from Real Illusion, and I've placed them in, let's have a look on my C drive in Program Files. You can put them wherever you want, basically. And rather than being installed to the engine, they're actually installed to the individual project. So if I go see Program Files here, Real Illusion, and what I'll find is, it's quite a way down, Share Plugins, Auto Setup, Unreal. Here we go, and there's versions for like the current and the preceding versions. I've just this moment upgraded to 4.26.1, so I'm hoping that this will still work. If you double click here, what you find is two folders. These are the ones you want, so you want to copy these, Control C, and then go to the project that you want to bring in iClone characters to. So I've already done this, but I'll show you where you put it. So Unreal iClone import here. Go to this folder here where you can see the content, and if you now Control V to paste, what it'll do, it'll add material to the content folder, and if you've not already got one, it will create a plugins folder. Then when you launch the program, it will pick this up when you try and import an iClone character, which I will demonstrate shortly. Okay, so once that's set up, you can launch your project. So I've got a kind of default blank area here. This isn't going to look particularly exciting, but it's just to demonstrate the principle. And I've got iClone open here, and what I've done is just create a fairly sort of standard character there, and use the, I think it's the animation Spunky Moves, and put them one after the other. So I've got about 2,000 frames here. I probably won't use all of them, but if I just play this back now, you'll see the kind of thing that we got. So already I've got motion going on there. Probably need to tweak those hands. If I was doing this properly, you can see they're bursting the knee there, which isn't necessarily a good look, and they're a bit loose there like that. So already I've got some head movement going on there, and what I'm going to do is to generate some additional facial motion by using the Live Face app that you get. And let's stop this, she's just talking away there. Using Live Face, which requires an iPhone 10 or greater, and that will add to this animation, and it will animate the mouth. We'll also move the head as well, but there's already head animation, as you can see in there. So let's set that up first. We'll add some facial animation, and we'll also export the audio, and then we'll bring that into Unreal, and I'll show you the process by which the CC link works and brings it in at the best possible quality. So here we are. What I need to do is go up to here to Motion Live and connect Live Face. So I've already got Live Face, the app, running on my iPhone. And what I need to ensure is that the IP address for my iPhone and for this machine are the same, and also that I'm on the same Wi-Fi network. So hopefully now, if I this should work. Yes. So I've got that little green tick there like that. And I also need to make sure that it's the face. This is the interface for, you can simultaneously capture, you could use a leap motion, you could use Rococo or perception neuron suit, and it will bring all these in at the same time. So to demonstrate that this is working, what I'm going to do, if you click the preview button and then press space, so it's tracking my face now, and what you should see is that there's some additional facial movement going on with this character. I'm rather exaggerating that, and in a different animation I may show you how you can tweak that so it's not so pronounced, but for now this is just the process of getting this into Unreal. Okay, so So let's stop. I'm going to rewind this and record. So we've got this set up. It's probably best to zoom in here so you get a sense of whether the movements are tracking. I find there's a bit of a lag and it doesn't pick it up absolutely. Record audio. Yes, I want the audio, so I've got this set up here like this. Hopefully this will be sufficient to capture this. See here you can change the strength of the movement as it's incoming. I'm not going to touch that for the moment. Right, let's put on smooth head. I haven't even tried that, so I'm not going to pretend to say anything meaningful about it. So instead of preview, what we're going to do is do record. So I'm making sure that I'm tracking my face. I can see the outline on it here, and then click there, space to record, and that should start the animation, and I will try and generate sufficient interesting facial movement. So here we go. So here I am now. I'm articulating as clearly as I can, and as you can see, there is some sort of lag. We'll see what it looks like when it comes back. I'm going to move my head around a bit now. I'll blow out my cheeks there. Is it picking up? I don't know. I'm not going to endlessly wrap it on like this, but just to give you sufficient to show you that I am adding facial animation. So I'm going to stop about now. Okay, that's done. So the next thing we need to do is to save this and bring it into Unreal. So just Control save the project and close this window down now. It's probably worth once you've done, yeah, that's fine. It's probably worth once you've done the live face, unless you've got the iPhone plugged into the mains, it not only drains the battery pretty damn quick, but it also gets quite hot. So I'm now going to just close off the live face so I don't end up with a dead phone. Right, I've done that, and it got up to 1562. So let's go File, Export, Export FBX. You can choose what frames per second you want to export. I'm going to go with 60 for now. So 1562 was where I ran out of interesting things to say. Some might argue it was earlier than that, but there we go. So embed textures, yeah, why not? Maximum texture size. Just for argument's sake, let's go for the big one. I think it will depend on what choices I made when I created this, because it may just be superfluous. So I'm just going to choose export now, and then it'll give me a location. So there's all meta-human stuff. Let's put it in the same directory roughly. So that was Unreal Projects iClone. Here we go. iClone import. There, let's create a folder here, new folder, and let's call this export stuff. Grand. Double click that and call this test 01 for want of a better word. Okay, click save. Now this may take some time because it's got that number of frames. It's only 60 frames a second divided by that. The other thing I want to do is probably to bring in the audio, or at least have it as a file. So once this is done, I should be able to go up to animation. It's just tidying up. This should nearly be there. I'm hoping this, you see, some of the lag may be introduced because I'm using OBS to record this at the same time. That may be causing issues with the resolution that I'm able to capture. But nonetheless, I may pause at this point and come back, because it is taking quite a bit of time. What have I got running? OBS and iClone and Unreal. There we go. It's now moving on slightly more. Here we go. That's done. So animation, and where do I export the create script? I think here. Nope. So it's file export. Where on earth did I see that export audio? It's getting annoying now, isn't it? Right, bear with me. There'll definitely be a pause here because this doesn't look too clever, does it? Render. Here we go. Render, export audio. He said that so confidently. And then export audio. Did anything come up? No, it didn't. Let's close that down. WAV. Yes, good. There's a bit of an issue. When you do something, you'd think the window would come to the front, but obviously not. So, WAV file, frame rate, it's all fine. What's it got at the range? 1562 is what I want to go to, isn't it? So, we put that the same there. Good. Simulating frames, no idea. Export. So, might as well stick it in the same directory I had previously. So, here we go here, Unreal, and then iClone. iClone export, somewhere import, sorry, and export stuff, and let's call this test audio 1. Right, so I've exported the character, the animation, and the audio. Let's save that project one more time. I'm going to close this down now. Hopefully that might speed things up a bit. Right, so now I'm in a position to bring this into Unreal. Let's create a new folder so it doesn't lock up anything. So let's call this test 01. Open this. And if you have set this up with the thing I mentioned about the content and plugins earlier, when I go to import this, import to game test 01, iClone import, it was up from there, wasn't it? So there, export stuff. And a 3D object, there it is. Open. And you'll get this dialog. So depending on, I've never used anything other than the high quality shader. So I just click OK. And another point at which there will be a significant delay. I know this from experience. First, we just need to do this. Now, the settings I have tended to use are import animations. Yes, need to do that. Haven't got a skeleton already, so I'll keep both those checked. In terms of the animations, just check it's on 60 frames a second default sample rate. Use default sample rate. I'm going to do that. And anything else here, I think the 2 as pose you select, and I tend to check the import morph targets. I think I might have read somewhere that you don't do that. I've done it and haven't found anything catastrophic. And then choose import all, and we're good to go. And let's see what we end up with. So expect there to be a pause. I believe we are just coming to the end of the process. The message log has come up. It's just compiling shaders there. There's always a message that comes up about the tier line opacity. I just simply click through on that. I'm now just going to, hopefully this won't take too long, I'm just going to click save all, so all those various things are actually saved. And this is what we end up with here. So the actual animation that we want, and the one we're going to double click on to preview at this point, is this one here. I'm going to bring in the audio at the same time. Thankfully it does export it as a WAV file. As you may or may not know, WAV is the audio format that Unreal favours. So if you've got an MP3, you either need to use Audition or some such. There are online services to transform the file into a WAV file. So let's just import the WAV file. It's in the same folder there, test audio 1. Now, one of the things that I found, I'm sure if I had a bit of leader, I could probably get away with it, is syncing up the WAV file with the movements. Depends on your output. If you're doing it in for a kind of video, then you can do that in post and sync it in Premiere or After Effects or whatever. It's your preferred tool of choice. So save all again, so that's that thing there saved. So let's double click on this animation to check and see what we've got. So I've certainly got the mouth moving there, and I'm doing the lip sync. I think that froze a bit there, you can see, and it's stuttering and catching up, so it's not brilliant, but it's come in, and they're ridiculous. Okay, so we've got something there, and to link that up to the audio, we'd use the notify track. So let's go back to the beginning here. Here's your notifiers, add notify, and choose play sound, and then click on this. I think I need to go to details. Yeah, so click on this, and then we'll search for the sound. So we'll call it test, I think. Anyway, so there's a lot of sound in here already. Test audio 1. New file. I think follow means it follows the actual person, so I tend to put that on. Change pitch and the volume. And there, like that, and let's just save that. Okay, there, like that. Now, I probably have turned off the speakers because I'm recording and feedback is just a terrible thing. But what I should have now, place that there like that, and then go there like that, bring that around there like that. That's probably, let's have a look. So here I am now. I'm articulating as clearly as I can, and as you can see, there is some sort of lag. We'll see what it looks like when it comes back. I'm going to move my head around a bit now. I think you might just be able to hear that in the background, but the audio is tracking to that. She's not actually sitting on the deck like this. Tweak that. So I brought in facial animation. So that is normally where I'd stop, but what I would be inclined to do, having used this live face, and you know, having acquired the iPhone, there is at the same time another app that you might want to use. So you might want to carry on bringing in your iClone character. You've got all the facial blend shapes there. What you are going to need to do is to ensure that you've got the bone names corresponding to the ones that Unreal uses, but you can use the app Live Link Face, which I find gives really good results. I've been using this with the metahumans because they are set up from the get-go to work with this, but I've also done some basic experiments with bringing in an iClone character and using the Live Link Face, which is the one that is documented in the Unreal Engine. So that's bringing in a character from iClone with facial animation, linking the audio up. There's some issues with the audio, some of which I think can be attributed to the fact that I'm recording at the same time, but I would also advise you to have a look at a workflow whereby, yes, you have to kind of retarget, that's the word I was looking for, you have to retarget the facial bones, which there's Matt Workman has done a good video on that. It's not complicated, but it is quite convoluted, so I'll probably put a link to that down in the description. So that's it for now.